Hi, it's Monday. It's Trisha, Knitting Lady. I don't know if I'm going to put out a video tonight, but this will be part of the next one. I finally finished the top. Like I said before, I won't use that yarn again because it's too busy. But it doesn't look bad on. I tried it on. The color is really complimentary. So, thanks for putting up with me while I was working on this for a long time. Hi everybody, it's Trisha, Knitting Lady, and I'm wearing the shirt I bought a couple weeks ago. I crochet, but my favorite hobby is collecting yarn. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the projects I have, excuse me. Okay, like always, I'm all over the place. I'm knitting a top and a round, and I took this stitch from my stitch dictionary, so it's coming along good. It's just going to be a sleeveless top. And let me get over one moment. And I'm going to make one big giant granny square with the Christmas yarn I have. So I start out with red, then the multicolor. I'm going to add some green. I'm just going to use up all the yarn. And I'll be taking a class at the local yarn store. She sells yarn and more on Saturday, the 6th of November. At first I wasn't going to do it. I bought the pattern before, but when I started reading the pattern, I'm like, okay, there are a few things in here I don't understand. It's a crocheted pattern, and that's the yarn I selected. So like I said, I'm all over the place. Hi, you get to see me, aren't you lucky? I tell you, I'm going to go off and take a walk soon because I need to walk. You know, I just need to exercise every day, at least a half an hour. Ever since I started that pre-diabetic diet, I've been pretty good about that. So I figured I'd get this out first, and I'd go to the beach. What else is new? I can walk in the sand, and it's good for your feet. So I'll do that. I hope this takes, because I recorded something that didn't take. So I haven't talked any trivia in a while. And today's the 27th, and the question is, which company coined the phrase? It's an ad slogan. A diamond is forever. And was launched in 1947, this ad. De Beers. D-E-B-E-E-R-S. Fine diamonds, that's for sure. And it's the birthday of John Gotti, God rest his soul. He was born in 1940 and 2000 and died in 2002. I think he died of cancer. I remember seeing him at Italian Festival in New York. Now I can't remember the name of the festival. It's San Gennaro Festival. I was trying to think of it before. I don't know if they had it recently with COVID, but it was every year, and it was down in Little Italy. And I worked for people that had restaurants in Little Italy. I had a side job working at this one restaurant, but they had other restaurants in New York. And they introduced me. They said, come over to the festival. You know, you can hang out with us, because they ran they ran a whole thing selling, you know, food, and they had homemade wine. So I went over there, and I remember John Gotti was there. And I thought to myself, boy, is he a well-dressed man. But like many men, or many people, questionable, you know, status or whatever, he was very good to the residents of Little Italy. So he wasn't all bad. Well, he was connected, I know, but... And today also would have been the birthday of Theodore Roosevelt. He was born in 1858 and died in 1919. I was just fascinated by Theodore Roosevelt because as a child, he was sickly and he overcame everything. And he was also big on the national parks, which I can relate to. In fact, I went to the Theodore National Park in North Dakota when I went to North Dakota. And he used to go there quite often to stay with this one family who found this town. What's the town's name? Medora? It's right outside the park. Small town. Whole story about that was really interesting. And also understated, New York subway officially opened in 1904, running from Brooklyn Bridge uptown to Broadway at 145th Street. Now, the tracks for the New York City Transit or New York City subway, if you laid them end to end, they would stretch from New York City to Chicago. So that's a lot of tracks. Now, I ran across this article. It's the wise words of Willy Wonka. I always liked that movie with Gene Wilder. I like it better than the one with Johnny Depp. And in fact, I really should buy that movie. I love the music. And remember the Oompa Oompa, what do they call those characters? Oompa Loompas. Used to crack me up. So R-O-A-L-D, I never know how to say this name, Dahl. The movie was based on his 1964 children's novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And he was, Willy Wonka was the eccentric candy factory owner who hides 5 golden tickets inside his chocolate bars in order to find a worthy successor. So the movie came out in 1971, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And his performance, Gene Wilder's performance, was largely true to the book. He was funny, strange, somewhat sadistic. Remember the stuff he pulled in that movie? With an extra dose of melancholy that made the character even more fascinating. It is often regarded as Wilder's finest and most beloved performance. Wonka comes up with all kinds of weird and wonderful lines. His words are often surreal and frequently amusing. And he has a liking for quoting others, especially in the movie. And some of his seemingly nonsensical statements are actually drawn from famous words of literature. For example, candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker. I think a lot of people know that line. That comes from Ogden Nash's poem, Reflections on Ice Breaking. I've read several Ogden Nash's poems. Very interesting. The quote, the suspense, now if I could talk, it would help. The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last. I love that line. It's from Oscar Wilde's play, The Importance of Being Earnest. Now, I've seen that play. I should read it again. It was an amusing play. Lines from Shakespeare are also scattered throughout the script. While many of Willy Wonka's quotes are silly or absurd, there's plenty that reveal the character's intellect. As strange as he is, Wonka is a wise man. And he has tendency for quoting words of wisdom as he leads the unsuspecting winners through his factory. So remember the quotes, the one phrase he said, "So shines a good deed in a weary world." Now he said that after Charlie Bucket returned the gobstopper that he had taken. And I'm not going to tell you what happens after that. Some of you know, you've seen the movie, but it ends up very well. So Wonka is heartened by this act of honesty, And his response is rephrasing of a Shakespearean quote from The Merchant of Venice. I had to read Merchant of Venice in high school. I remember we had to memorize The Quality of Mercy. It's not strange. Drop it from, and I won't go into it. But after all these years, I still remember most of that. So the original quote was, "So shines a good deed in a naughty world." Now, there's another phrase, "There's no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be." And that's from the song, Pure Imagination, which I always like that song. So that song is sung when the group first enters the factory. For Wonka, there's beauty everywhere. You simply have to look around and view it. It's true. A little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest men. This line is from the film, had its origins in an old, perhaps very old saying. The exact expression appeared in a review in the New York Mirror in 1823. The reviewer himself quoting an old couplet. It might go as far back as the Roman poet Horace, who wrote, "Mingle a little folly with your wisdom. A little nonsense now and then is pleasant." That's true. We are the music makers and we are the dreamers of dreams. Wonka uses these words in response to Veruca Salt's question, snozzberries. Who ever heard of a snozzberry? Here Wonka is quoting the first two lines of an 1873 poem, Ode by Arthur O'Shaughnessy. Something, right? I never knew this about the book or the movie. Time is a precious thing, never wasted. Now, I remember this scene. So says Wonka as he drops an alarm clock into a steaming vat, much to the surprise of Veruca Salt, who explains he's absolutely bonkers. Yes. Don't waste time. Time's a precious thing, no, never waste it. Where is fancy bred, in the heart or in the head? Now he again paraphrases The Merchant of Venice. The author, Dahl, must have liked that Shakespearean play. So he paraphrases The Merchant of Venice in the movie. Shakespeare originally wrote, "Tell me, where is fancy bred, or in the heart or in the head?" He is inquiring as to where our desires begin, in the heart or in the mind. This one, don't argue, my dear child. Please don't argue. It's such a waste of precious time. In the novel, Wonka tells Mike TV not to waste time arguing. It's a fair point, although Mike's argument concerning Wonka's hair toffee concept is quite valid. All I ask is a tall ship and a star to sail her by. And before setting off in the movie's psychedelic boat ride, remember that? Willy Wonka quotes this beautiful line from the poem Sea Fever by the English poet John Masefield. All I ask is a tall ship and a star to sail her by. That's nice. You should never, never doubt what nobody is about. And this is from an old poem too. 1897 poem from Hilliard Belloc's poem, The Microbe. Ends with the line, the poem ends with the line, "Oh, let us never, never doubt what no one is sure about." So that's it. I don't know if I'll be making any kind of video between now and Saturday when I take off. I do have an idea, maybe I will, because I have to celebrate Halloween in some way, right? I'm not a big Halloween person, but I do like the music. Last night when I went to the Moose Club and they have karaoke, I did all Halloween songs. Monster Mash, Werewolves of London. The Monster Mash went over really big. Where Was the Lemon? Some people never heard that song. I found that surprising. All right, so take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.